And I think we are live. It looks like we are.
Good.
So, hello everybody.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hi, Tanya.
Good.
Hi, Cher. How are you both?
Good.
I'm good.
Hi,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Cher.
How are you coping with this lockdown? You've gone crazy
It's
yet?
ridiculous.
Seems to be
It
going
is
on.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going on and on. Isn't
I
it?
want to
I'm
I
done
can
with
go
it.
store and I go to visit my mother and that's it. I don't go anywhere else, which is fine, I guess. But it's driving me crazy. There's 4 of us in the house, so one of those things. At least my husband has his own office, so he can lock the door or whatever, and work all day. But so we're doing fine. How are you guys all doing?
Yeah, not
Good.
too
I'm
bad.
just done with it.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much done with it. It's just we've got to stick to the guidelines, haven't we? So
I know.
well,
Exactly.
hi to everyone in chat. Hi to Helen, JD. Hi Kimberly. Hi some
Kimberly,
spread lies, others
JD.
know the truth. Who is who? That's a long name. Some spread lies, others know the truth. Who is who?
Oh, hey, Sam. That's a friend.
Oh, okay. Hi Ben. Hi Eric. Hi JD. Okay, so to start with tonight, so we've got Tania Hagan on, author, of course.
Yes, thank you.
No Inclination.
Thank you for
Did
having
the
me.
Chris Watts book. That's okay. And we've got Cher on, of course. We know Cher with the channel Voices Behind the Wall. And they've got together, and Tania has a new book project, which I know
We
they're
do.
keen to talk about.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you.
I stalked her.
Pardon?
Yeah, go ahead and tell a story.
Oh, yeah? So,
I'll
when you were coming on,
I'll hand it over to you guys if you want to. I mean, Tanya, if you just want to
Awesome.
give yourself a brief introduction of yourself and just the books that you've written,
Yeah.
just in case anyone's not aware.
Sure, go ahead, Cher. Oh, me? Oh, sure, yeah.
yeah, you.
Okay, I'm the one who wrote the books. I have about 8 books, and The Ghost of Great Gardens. Thank you, Cher. That's one of them. And my latest book was No Inclination, which is a fictional account of the Watts case. And there it is with a picture of a gentleman who resembles Chris Watts, I guess. Some people say he looks nothing like him, which is good because he's not. He's Charlie Spencer. But I'm an author. It's something I do as a hobby. And I have about 8 books, and there's one more coming up soon. Cher, if you want to talk about that.
Okay, so when you were supposed to be scheduled for Team Phoenix, Chris had given me the heads up because we all know who was hounding me before.
Right.
And so he told me that you were coming on, and then I decided to do my stalking.
You stalked me. No, you didn't. You just messaged me.
Stalked you on Facebook.
You're
Messaged
so
you.
funny. Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you found me, and I'm glad we started what we started. So, do you want to give a rundown since you know her more? Obviously, I don't know her at all, but I'd like to someday, of course.
Oh, yes.
About what we're doing.
Well, so we talked about doing this journey together and basically unraveling everything that's already been put out there, and the other book, The Fatal Beauty.
Right.
Just everything in the media we just discussed, and we're about to blow it out of the water, I think.
We are. We're going to tell the truth. It's regarding Rhonda Glover, the woman who unfortunately is locked up for killing her ex, oil tycoon Jimmy Jost. Is that how you pronounce it, Jost or Jost? I don't know.
Well, I say Jost, but
I think that's how I pronounced in news clips or whatever. But she did this crime in self-defense. She, in my opinion, she had no other option in the heat of that moment. and she shouldn't be where she is. She shouldn't be there for 46 years. And so we're trying to tell the true story, if that's valuable to her or not. Cher wants her story out there because she is so close to Rhonda. She's like her mother, which is so sweet. I love that. But so we're going to do it. We're going to make it, be a lovely book where we tell the true story again. Even though Rhonda already told it, it didn't matter at the time. So we're gonna do it right.
And that's kind of what got it. The first thing I asked you, if you remember, was I gave you her name and said, look her up and tell me what you think. I didn't really say much. I wanted to see what your response was going to be.
Oh, definitely. And I
after
don't see how
you
they couldn't
looked it up.
see that as self-defense. There's no way. That poor woman, he was strangling her. Like I've said before, if Shanann Watts had a gun, we'd be telling a different story about the Watts murders, Mm-hmm. So I don't, that poor girl, my heart aches for her, and I'm hoping that we can accomplish something, even just to change the eyes, the opinion of people out there, the public, about what really happened. That would be a wonderful thing to happen for Rhonda. And it's kind of like Cher's project. It's a gift to Rhonda because they're so close, and I believe Rhonda deserves this. I think she deserves for people to see what really happened and to change their minds, because she was not where she should have been during the trial, emotionally, I mean, and there was not much she could do to defend herself, and no one was working for her. And no one has been on her side, it seems like, since this happened, except for Cher. There have been a few, of course, but not to the extent where anyone wants a real change, and that's what we're aiming for. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Okay, so what
Sure.
makes you think that this, she has a chance of turning around this sentence? What in your mind, what are the points that make you think that she isn't guilty or is less guilty of what happened?
Well, Cher could tell you more about what the future, the hope for the future is right now. There's actually a legal loophole, snafu, whatever you want to call it, that might help her case a bit coming up. But the reason why I think it was self-defense. I think she was terrified. He was strangling her, much like Chris Watts did to Shanann. And she pulled the gun out of her, her hip pocket, out of the back of her jeans, and just shot him out of terror. I don't know how the jury came back with such a quick answer, and the answer was lock her up forever. And I just cannot believe that. Apart from the fact that it happened in Texas, and there's little women and big men in Texas, and I don't want to get a whole state to hate me here, but they probably will. I think that it was the wrong jury, the wrong everything, the wrong defense attorney, if you want to call it that. There's no way. Even here in Illinois, if a man is strangling a woman and she shoots him, good for her. I'm sorry to say that, but there's no way she deserved what she got. No way.
I know that one of the issues that obviously people will have is that she went and trained was it on the day or the day before to fire that pistol.
Right, and Cher knows the story more than I do, but I believe that she purchased the gun for self-defense, not specifically against her ex, but she thought that she had intruders from time to time. I believe she even called the police several times, where she heard people downstairs and, they ran away, but she was terrified. A woman, a single mom living with her little boy. And I would have been terrified too. I do not like guns. I don't think I would have bought a gun, but she did. And good for her. She needed to defend herself and her child. And she was taking, gun shooting lessons. Of course, she didn't know how to use it. But yeah, I think that she has a lot of logical reasons why she purchased a gun and why she went ahead with lessons. I would certainly need training too. I have no idea how to use a gun, but
I think we've learned too that there's actually no record of the special training, they're saying. So
Right.
we've
Special
actually
training,
uncovered that. There was no special training. I mean, if she was actually taught to be this expert shot, there wouldn't have been more than one shot.
No, exactly. Well, I mean,
and there's also no record of that.
I think she was taking regular training like a housewife would take to learn how to shoot a gun, of course.
Yep.
And I think that she was terrified, and she was so scared of him in that moment that she didn't know if one shot would end her terror, basically. And so in the heat of the moment, I'm sure she was just squeezing that trigger thinking, please stop, please stop, please stop. You know, that's something that any regular lady would do. And plus she was on a lot of medication that clouded her vision a bit. So I think she did what a lot of us would have done. And again, let's go ahead and look at the Watts case. Imagine Shanann pulling a gun out of the bedside table and ending the problem right there. And we would not sit here. We probably would lock her up. Maybe not in Colorado, but
we would have sort of 4 other people still alive.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And but then again, if it did happen with Shanann, if she did kill her husband, then who knows? Would she be put in jail for 46 years and have those babies? Right? Who knows? And I hate to think that she would have. But it was exactly the same scenario, pretty much exactly the same story, except for the fact that I believe Chris Watts was not abusive on a regular basis. I think it just happened this one time. But Jimmy was apparently abusive continuously to Rhonda and to her child. And she had no choice. In that moment, she was all alone in that house with him. She had no choice. Yeah.
And like I've told you and shown you some evidence too, it would have been, if it wasn't just Jimmy that day, it would have been all 3, if not Rhonda and John Chandler. So.
Right. Oh, absolutely. He would have gotten rid of both of them and perhaps committed suicide. I'm sure he would have, based on what you told me. But I think she ended the problem the only way she could. And it was very convenient that she had carried her gun in. But I believe you told me she carried her gun in so that she could keep it there at the house.
She was going to keep it there at the house while her and John Chandler went camping. So again, that was her house that Jimmy was living in.
Right.
So,
and he was living there. But he had told her previously that he was out of town.
Right.
Which is very scary. So what did he I think he had a huge plan to kill her and then find her son and do the same thing. And why would he lie to her about being out of town? That's creepy in itself right there. He had something planned. And to see her in the bedroom and start choking her, I mean, he was out of his mind. He really was.
And they also said he had moving trucks arranged as well for that day, for later that day or the next day. So he was actually planning on stealing everything. I don't know, taking everything from the house, all that. So, I mean, he had other plans.
So he had to get rid of her. And I think that, doing it by way of strangling is a very personal thing. He had a lot of issues. And I feel so sad for her that she went by the house that day, but carrying the gun with her, if he would have tried something later, it would have happened then. Yeah. So it was a very tough situation. I definitely believe she needs maybe 8 or 9 years and then out of there, which, how long has she been in for? 15 now? Or
17, going on 17 in July.
Okay. That's enough. I think she needs to get out with time served and we're done. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that, there is a way to get her out, aside from the book is only going to support everything that everyone's saying, about her not being this guilty, horrible killer housewife. She's not. She acted in self-defense. And I think I would have done the same thing. Again, I hate guns. I would have to learn how to use them, but I think that a lot of women would just simply reach for that gun and end the suffering right here and now. Mm-hmm. And even if he wasn't strangling her, I think if he wasn't strangling her, she obviously wouldn't have done it. She would have slipped back out of the house and, tried to avoid him the rest of her life. So, yeah, I think that she needs out of there, especially during the coronavirus issue. I think she should be done. Yeah.
So, Cher, you know quite a lot about the court process, don't you? What happened in the courtroom? Was all that kind of stuff brought up during the trial, and how was that?
So none
covered?
of that could be. None of that could be because the attorney that was supposed to be fighting for her and making sure that, she didn't go to prison, actually was working for prosecutors, because why would you make the deal that nothing bad Jimmy ever did could not be used in court? That's everything. That's the whole case.
Right.
So
I don't know why.
All of his 911 calls and all of the abuse and him getting arrested, anything that was said to the children's aid people for custody of John Chandler, nothing could be used in court, and that's everything. These people had their minds made up before she even walked in there to be sentenced. They had it made up already in their mind.
Oh, sure. And I'd love to find out who the jury was. I'd love to find out how many, what percentage
I'm still
of
working
men
on how many men and how many
women. I know
women.
you are.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. So, I don't know if it was an 11-man, 1-woman jury, which would be unfortunate. And again, I know that, and I don't want to get in trouble with Texans, but I know that in Texas,
there's already opened a can of worms.
I already did it. Now they hate me. I know. They won't ever read my books again. But I know that there's a different mindset in Texas, especially even at the turn of the century when this was happening, in the early 2000s. I think that things may have changed, which is good. But I think it needs to be looked at again. And I think she needs to get out of there to get to come home and see her family, her and you, So it's really unfortunate. And I'm hoping that we can do some good for her, if nothing else, and just to have a legacy left to her. Something that she can hold on to and say, look, this is the truth. This is my book, so that's important.
It is going to be all new people now. It's new judges are in there. It's after 17 years, it's all new people, but now we have that battered women's syndrome law.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that yet or not, but that's I'm thinking that will get her out. I'm hoping. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be beautiful? And unfortunately, there's been coronavirus in her prison. Correct? Do you know how many cases or anything like that?
We got 17 cases as of Friday or Saturday, whenever I got that last package. So
that's been
and she has underlying health issues. So
yeah.
I'll say that's been a huge thing across the whole prison system, isn't it? The COVID.
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, they're talking about.
There's no TVs, no phones, no emails right now. So she's, they're limited on letters. So I'm getting what I can, and then, nobody's allowed the phones. They're not even having commentary right now. Any of that right now. They weren't even. Giving them their masks or cleaning. I read you that one letter. It was just upsetting. So
I know.
Sounds like that's changed now, but we'll find out.
So she's in Gatesville, right? In the Dr. Murray Lane unit, is that right?
Yep, Lane Murray.
Mm-hmm. How many other inmates are in there with her? Do you know? Is it just a large prison?
There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure a number, but a lot.
So this book then, this is kind of I guess this is what Rhonda's story, is it? She feels that her story hasn't really been heard, or her truth hasn't been heard. So I guess this is her story, is it? Is that how it's based?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. We're, a lot of stuff will be left for her for when she does get out. She can actually tell it, her way. And so we're doing it now. Basically, we're just going to take everything that I've learned and that I have evidence and can knock out of the water is what we're doing. So it is still from her point of view, but it's basically everything that we've uncovered and researched ourselves to unravel everything that's already been put out there of her that other people have done and just haven't given a shit and just basically wanted, a page turner or easy money, whatever, blood money.
Because there is a book already, isn't
Right.
there? There's a book, Fatal
There
Beauty,
is.
isn't there, by Bill?
Yes.
Was it Bill?
Sure
Baker?
is, Mr. Bill Burrell or Burrell Bill, whatever his name
Something
is.
like that. Right.
He
Yeah.
has
He's a
offered
fine author.
to rewrite the book for me because I did, of course, reach out. You know me, and
I
told
love
him,
that. That is great.
yeah, my exact words were, "I think your book is bullshit, and how does that
Oh,
make
you're
you feel?
funny.
You got a bunch of family that got hurt off of this, and basically, what are you going to do about it now?" And he was like, "Well, I could do another book and this and that." Well, thanks
That'd
for
be
the
awesome.
offer, but you already screwed it up once. But I just wanted to hear you say that.
Awesome. I love it. You're so funny.
On to the next.
You go for the jugular with these people who have done her wrong. Thank goodness she's got you. Oh my goodness. And I know that we were kicking around the possibility of calling it something like Fractured Beauty, so that we're not stealing anyone's title, but we're kind of reversing what he said.
Right.
And that would be, I don't think we'd get in trouble again. I'm waiting for my attorney, Scott. If you're listening, call me.
Yeah, Scott.
But yeah, Scott, he's adorable. I love my attorney. He's just a really good guy, but I think he's very, very busy right now.
Right.
But I would like to give Rhonda a byline so that it's part, she's definitely on there because it's her story. So, there's a few things we need to kick around still, but and the title, again, we don't really know what we're going to title it, but something like that I'm hoping that Rhonda will agree to. And again, when we write this book, all three of us have to agree to every word. Right. So that Cher will edit it, and then she'll get it to Rhonda or read it to Rhonda or something like that, and then we'll get everyone's approval, because I wouldn't go on otherwise. There'd be no way that I would allow anything that's not approved of by everyone to go forward. So I've done a book like that that goes to Grey Gardens. We did it that way too, where it was I would write up what Lois would tell me things, and I'd write it up. Then it would go to, I would read it all to Lois. She'd make her edits, and I'd turn it over to her family, and they'd make their edits, and then we'd have a final copy. And that's the only way to do it, I think, when you have more than one party involved. Yeah, definitely.
And we want her to feel she was made to feel included before, but everybody lied to her and whatever. Gosh. So it's good to actually let her be included. And
didn't you go after the guys from Snapped as well? You went after
Sure
Snapped
did.
You're amazing.
Sure as hell did.
Who was that? My God. Who was that, Cher?
Oh, that'd be Pooja Seth. Should I say names? I don't know. All of them.
I guess it's true.
Piers Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
We all know I love him.
Yeah, we know him well over here in the UK. Yeah.
Just so you know, he was writing her again. He'd love a follow-up. Yes. I have that email.
A follow-up to make her look bad again. No.
Right.
No way.
For his series.
No idea.
Yeah, what was his series? Yeah. Killer Women, wasn't it? Killer Women.
Yeah.
But I remember you saying to me which stuck out was he was all very nice to her, nicey, and then as soon as the interview started, he's a very he goes on the attack. He's a very attacking
narcissistic.
He's a very attacking interviewer.
Great.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I mean, he's got a game plan. He's got a game plan, and that's his business. So. Unfortunately, with Piers Morgan, he's never been somebody that I've liked or look up to, because he's sexist. He really is. I mean,
sure.
Well,
he goes after women, not in nice ways at all.
Yeah, and he did make a point of saying that Rhonda was the most frightening woman he'd ever.
The most psychopathic woman he's ever met.
Yeah,
but he hasn't met me yet.
That's actually what he that was one of his
quotes. My gosh, she is not a psychopath. She has feelings. She has emotions. She cares about everyone, from what you've told me, Cher. I can't imagine being...
Even just the little bits that I screenshot you. Does she not, like...
Oh, she seems like a lovely person,
cares about the kids. She cares about
me. She cares about everyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't know, I think Piers Morgan is actually an investigative journalist. And so therefore he wants to go for the jugular. That's what he does. And how awful.
He's so much sorry. Like Nancy Grace, but the male version.
Yes.
That's
right.
I mean,
right. And I think Nancy Grace, a lot of times she does good. You know, she does actually good things.
Yeah, I love and hate her.
I know, so do I. Oh my gosh, I would love to have a tea with her or something, but I don't know. I don't approve of everything she says and does. And I really loved the way she went after Casey Anthony. That really made me happy. But there have been some others who didn't deserve what she said. But, it's her style of reporting, and that's fine. Same with Pierce. But, when they hurt someone close to you, I can imagine what you feel. Yeah. So I'm glad you did that. Good for you.
So, and also, Cheryl, I know we talked about this, didn't we? There was somebody else who came a knocking, if you like, wanted a piece of Rhonda's story.
Can I say names? Should I say names?
Well, I think,
how classy are we being?
I think it's fine. I mean, she just wanted to put the story out, didn't she? But
okay.
Because of her recent history, you obviously weren't too willing to work with her. So I think people will understand that.
It would have been probably last spring or summer. I was in contact with Sherilyn Cadle. She got, I don't know, she just rubbed me the wrong way, gave me all the wrong energy. And I ended up telling her off and sending her a lovely email, just basically telling her how I thought that her treatment in the Watts case and everything, what I thought, and told her to F off. And then she actually started hounding me again in like January or February? January, maybe,
right. You told me. I don't remember when.
Chris and I were talking. Yeah, he was trying to get her to maybe come on and tell her side, like maybe like open up, like, why do you think these things or whatever. And she had actually just emailed me, and it went to my spam folder, and basically begging me to help and to have something to do with this. And she had also wanted me to help her with her social media presence and having people accept her on social media, and wanting my help with that, even though I'm new to it, but people like me because I'm not an asshole.
Right. Everyone likes you from what I can tell. And I only talked to Sherilyn literally once on social media before the plagiarism thing hit. And she was a very nice lady. We were going to do coffee someday. We were, and we live about 30 miles apart. So that would have been an easy thing to do. And she always came across as a nice lady. And I don't know what happened. I'm assuming what happened was that she, as I mentioned before, and I think she told you this as well, that she took notes and she forgot where the notes came from, and she just put them right in the book,
And that's what happened is talking to you is I caught her in, I think, I don't know how many lies, but a big lie after talking to you, because she had told me one thing. Then she told you one thing. She never thought in a million years you and I would ever link up. And so then I was just like, oh no.
Oh no, how funny. Yeah. But
so she had said that, I can't remember how it went, but she said she didn't have an editor. It was either she had an editor and the editor screwed it up, or she didn't have an editor. Right. She had to do it herself, and so it just happened or whatever. But then whatever she told me was completely opposite of whatever she told you. And then so I sent off another lovely email.
It is a shame, isn't it, when people are dishonest. I really don't feel that why people need to be dishonest. Well,
and I showed you both the screenshots of the emails, and you can't tell me that's pretty damn pushy. All she is seeing is the dollar signs, and that's not right. And you guys, she's writing another book. She's going after the Watts money again, so nobody buy that shit. Excuse my French, but nobody buy that shit.
Is she really? Is she writing another book? I've not heard this.
There's going to be another book.
Exclusive, share. What is this book?
Okay, well, here we go. Let's get the exclusive. No, she's writing another book, and it's going to come out end of summer. I want to say she said like July or August. That was the plan before this Corona crap. She will have now the letters in there, and she said there's other details that she's still not going to put in there, but she'll have the letters in there, and she had to change some wording in the book. But there is going to be another book that she releases on the Chris Watts on the same thing, she also was trying to tell me that she could get me a boatload of money if I worked with her, and she would want my help because she knows how, I dig into all these cases, and, I have these series on the Watts cases, that's changed. So she kind of used that to try and string me along to get me want to invest in working with her. And then she also, it's not good. She was telling me how she'd get me on Dr. Oz, and Dr. Oz basically listens to her and what she wants to do, promising me the stars and the moon.
Oh my.
I'm not so sure. Yeah, after all this plagiarism scandal, I'm not so sure people will trust her as much. So basically, it sounds like a rehash of her book.
A rehash,
without the bits that she copied, and with the letters at the end as well, is what it sounds like, doesn't it?
Yep, definitely.
Wow.
So she's redoing the original book, probably with a different title, and that's fine.
But that was part of the lawsuit. She doesn't know I know that. It was part of the lawsuit that she had to redo the book.
She has to give a different title, is what I.
Yep, a different title. Certain things had to be switched, and letters had to be added. That's all in the lawsuit, which she didn't know that I actually knew of the lawsuit, and that I researched and I know what all had to be done. Everybody can go on social media and figure that out. It's not that hard, lady.
Sure. Right.
And that was put on her by Anne Howard, wasn't it? Was it Anne Howard?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anne Howard, yep.
Anne Howard, nice lady, from what I can tell. I've never met her, but really nice.
Good job, Anne Howard.
Yeah, well, I imagine being a writer, that must be one of the most...
Well, I think it was Kimberly. Shout out to Kimberly. She's the lady.
Yeah, it was, Kimberly. Yeah.
Kimberly. She's awesome. I love her. And she broke the news. She was researching something like moral responsibility, something that Cato put in her book. And when she Googled, I think she probably Googled the entire sentence, and it popped up linked to another book. And what a rare discovery. I don't think Cato knew anyone would discover that. And I remember, I think, honestly, I can't imagine why an author, if you're going to use someone else's work, reference it. Oh my gosh, give credit to the other author. I can't imagine I can't understand any author doing it intentionally either. So I would love to talk to her and find out her whole story, and I think she does.
When you're blinded by the quick, easy blood money, know, I mean,
and I think
it's easy to do.
Yeah. I think it's a shame because I think she, she had a bit of she kind of messed things up really with that book, in my personal opinion. And just afterwards, a lot of the stuff, she started to get very much involved in all of the conspiracy stuff after, and she kind of got swept up in that. And the whole thing just became a complete blur and mess, and nobody really knew, well, actually, did Chris say that, or are you saying that, or are you making it up? And it just became really difficult to actually define.
Well, he got upset at her too off that book. He ended up saying that she twisted what he was saying, that he didn't want nothing to do with her. She'll say that she stopped. What, did she even go visit him, or was it just letters?
She did go and visit him. Yes, she did visit him 4 or 5 times.
So he ended all that. I know that he ended all that. And she's going to claim that she ended it. Now, when I was just talking to her recently to try and get her on Team Phoenix, and she told me, she texted me one day, just so you know, as of yesterday, I've made my final, that was my final straw with him, and I'm done with him. I'm not talking to him anymore. But the way that she said something to me stood out, and I know it's him that cut her off. She's been twisting what he said and lied, and he knows that, and he wants nothing to do with her. And if he could, he'd be suing her himself.
Right. And I think that, even if I were to write a book for Chris Watts type of thing, I would let him approve every word, and the family too. Of course, and the Watts family are beautiful people. They don't deserve any of this. They don't deserve the
made no donations to anybody. She's no payments to any of the family. I don't care if the family even said like, no, I don't want to accept any of this. And you should at least then, like to me and you have talked about this.
Yeah.
You make a donation to something at least and in the name of the family, maybe.
Exactly. You know, that would have been lovely. And she
anything.
may have. Did she say that she hasn't yet? Or
She has not. I've been looking.
Okay.
And why would you not? Why would you would want to put your name on that, right?
Exactly. And I don't understand, you know, I mean, with no inclination, I don't get any royalties until May, but I'm certainly donating to a charity. Absolutely. No doubt about it. And with our book, you know, you and I even discussed that we're going to give 10% of the proceeds directly to a charity. And I think that would make Rhonda proud, you know, and that's what it's all about, is making people feel good through the whole process. And to write a book with or for someone and not to get them to approve it. I don't care if you're Chris Watts or even Charles Manson, you're going to want them to approve it. So I don't know how it all happened. And it's such a strange gray area with the editing. You know, when I turn in a manuscript to an editor, you know, to my publisher, and then she has one of her editors edit it, but it's so clean. You know, there's like maybe a few little typos to change and that's it. You don't have sentence structure that is so bad.
She said she wrote for Reader's Digest or something like that for like 20 years or something. But and then I tried to find it, and I so far cannot find. I gave up after I just was like.
Well, I'm sure she had a different last name. A lot of my stuff is under my maiden name, which is Tania Truttenchuk, and that's still out there. You know, my previous
Reader's Digest wouldn't even put in the typos that she has.
No, of course not. No, Reader's Digest has an editor. Of course they do.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if I even believe that.
I think people were surprised that she wrote it so quickly as well. It didn't seem very long before she'd kind of gone to see him. All of a sudden she had this book together, and it's kind of like, well, that was a bit quick. And
well, I don't
I could make my theories.
Yeah, I don't
falter for
that.
Do you think that she wrote it?
Go ahead.
Do you think she wrote that herself?
I do. I think she
Not
did.
her husband helping?
It could have been, but then, you know, then there would have been four eyes rather, looking at it, and they would have caught the typos and all the run-on sentences and everything that was, you know, incorrectly used terms and spelling the victims' names wrong. And if there were two people looking at it, you would think that someone would catch it, even when she sends it into the editor. But maybe I don't understand her publisher. It was sort of one of those, you pay us and we'll publish your book, which I don't understand why she would do that. Oh my goodness, she could have gotten a giant publisher and certainly an agent. You know, if I could do it, she can do it. But I think that if there would have been a husband looking at it or something, someone would have said, one of the two of them would have said, oh, wait a minute, maybe we should look at this again and change a little bit. Yeah, so I don't think there was anyone else.
Yeah.
Certainly with the victim's name. I mean, she got the Ruzek's name wrong, which it's
that's
just appalling.
So messed up.
Yeah. In a book of that nature, it's just...
Could you imagine if I got Rhonda's name wrong?
I know. Oh my goodness. Wow. And you know, you may do it. I know that when I did No Inclination, there was a detective's name. It was Burroughs, and there's a couple different ways to spell Burroughs. And after my editor got to it, she didn't catch it. But there was one instance where I spelled it the wrong way, so we had to go back and change that. I mean, even the fictional character, and you get their name wrong, you've got to go back and fix it. And as far as how long she took to write the book, I wrote a book in 2 months. You know, I think No Inclination took 5 months, so it's not unheard of. And if you're used to doing it the way, you know, your way, you can get through a book very quickly. So I don't really falter with that, and that's entirely possible to write a book that quickly, especially since a lot of the material she used was already written, and she literally copied and pasted the discovery.
That's true.
Yeah.
So when do you think I don't know. When do you think your new book will be ready, Tania? Have you got a sort of date set for it, or?
I'd say give us 4 or 5 months, and we should be ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure.
I've been saying 6 months.
Call you Rhonda, Cher. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'll take it.
Yeah. I'd say 4 or 5 months to get it done. But now with the coronavirus going on, it's difficult for Cher to get a hold of Rhonda and talk the way she normally would. So we might have to bump a month up. But certainly, you know, what is it? March, April, May, June, July, August, maybe September. How about that? Yeah.
Well, that's good. It's
For
great.
sure.
It's great that you guys hooked up and how it's kind of worked out.
Oh,
really, isn't it?
very.
It just kind of panned out just right for you.
I know,
guys,
and I
really.
love her. I love Cher. You're such a sweetie. I'm so happy we found each other. You know, if for nothing more than just a friendship, I really am glad about that. And it is kind of because of your show. She found me. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And
I know Cher has stacks and stacks of paperwork regarding the case as well. It's not like she's just
she does
doing stuff that she's read off the internet. She has properly, done her research, and she has got proof to back up, a lot of what she's saying.
Sure has. She needs to be a defense attorney. Go back to school and do that, Cher. You're so good at
I've been offered, if I can get in, I've had attorneys offer I can actually take the bar exam if I go under the wing of a judge or an attorney, and I've had several
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, do this. Why won't you do that? Oh my gosh.
I will.
Totally.
It's a plan.
Okay, good. Yeah, because you're very good at what you do, even though you do it just for friends, you could do it for clients, and I think that would be beautiful. Good for you. But
we'll have lots
so we met
lots of other women.
Yes, there are a lot of other women who are sitting there just like Rhonda, or who are about to be, so I think that would be excellent. That might be your calling. So good.
So how's your No Inclination book going, selling?
According to my publisher, it's doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing very well. I can't talk about who or what or why, but for a couple months. But I just filmed a documentary from a pretty major production company who came out to my house, and it was regarding the Watts case, and so people are taking notice of the book and they're reading it. And oh heavens, one of my readers actually sent a book to Chris in prison. I don't know if he got it. I told her I don't want to know anymore. Don't tell me. You send him a book. That's it. I don't want to know anymore. But people are receiving it very well. There are, I've only had a handful of reviews, and it's like pulling teeth asking people to review my books, but they come eventually. But everyone who has received it, who've read it, they've given me excellent reviews or excellent feedback if it's in private. But yeah, it's doing very well.
4.5 stars everywhere I've looked. I've been looking.
Thank you. Yeah, there was really somebody who gave me 2 stars, I think, because they didn't like the supernatural element in the book or whatever. But that's fine. That's their opinion. I don't mind bad
always
reviews.
have to have the haters.
Yeah, you have to. Oh, I've got so many right now. That's okay.
I was going to say, did you attract, because I mean that case is without a doubt it attracts a level of hate that's not seen anywhere else. I don't think.
Does,
a
and
level
wherever
of craziness. Have you attracted that in writing that book?
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Whenever I do a YouTube show, especially, there will be haters that go off on me or whatever, my opinions or my squeaky voice or whatever. My voice is horrible. What does that have to do with, my book, though? Nothing, really.
I'll get them.
So I've had a lot of people, and even especially with my Grey Gardens book, there was a whole team of people who hated me, a whole army of people who hated me. And so I'm used to it now. I try to respond sometimes to the trolls, but I don't. So yeah, I'm used to it. And I'm sure we'll get a lot with this book too, Cher,
Definitely.
Yeah.
I already get it.
Sure.
I back up a murderer. I already get it.
I bet, yeah.
I mean, there is that element, isn't there, that people are going to say, why are you backing or why are you supporting trying to help a murderer? I mean, it's an inevitable question, isn't it? Can't avoid it.
No, of course.
I mean, how do you sort of respond to those sort of people?
Well, with the Watts book, that there were a lot of people accusing me of how dare I think the mistress is innocent and things like that. And, they'll make fun of me and say that I need to get a new pair of glasses and see how guilty she is, and that I've lost all credibility because I won't say that Nicole Kessinger did anything wrong. And, it goes on and on and on like that, where people are, I mean, I did Armchair Detective, Alan, we had planned a debate where he would take his side of the story and I'd take mine, you know, my opinion versus his. And it was a happy, fun little debate. And we're both very respectful to each other. But I do not agree with his opinions and he doesn't agree with mine. And that's fine. But all of his people who subscribed to his channel just hated me because I didn't agree with it, which is so funny. You know, everyone, and Alan and I are very, you know, we're fine. We're cool. We're still friends, whatever. There's no, it wasn't an evil debate, you know, good versus evil or anything like that. But so people, especially on YouTube, if I don't agree with the creator, but that, you know, we argue very pleasantly. We don't ever have an issue, but yet they take my disagreement as being evidence and I'm such a dummy or an airhead. Well, I am an airhead, but not not when it comes to my opinions on, you know, cases. I don't think I make an educated guess. And so, yeah, they're everywhere and they'll always haunt me. And that's the nature of the beast, unfortunately, when you're a writer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it was very, I mean, the fact that you wrote it from the victim's perspective, I thought that was, you know, different and very interesting. It was, yeah, it was a nice way. Well, a nice way of approaching it. It gave them a bit of a voice anyway, didn't it, in the book?
That's what my intent was. Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
especially with the little girl, with Kinsey, who is actually, you know, she'd be Bella in real life. I wanted to give the victims a voice that they didn't have. We didn't know, you know, to be able to see these people again and to understand what they might have gone through. And even after the crime, you know, I don't want to give anything away, but it goes on in a sort of supernatural way. And I came to a conclusion at the end that I'm hoping it comforted me. I'm hoping, you know, other people have told me it was very comforting, very, you know, kind of like a little bit of hope, which is what my plan was. And if we didn't, you know, and then again, the reason I did that was I had to climb into the killer's head, which was horrible. But I wanted to be able to understand him more too, and to let people out there understand him more as well. So that's why I did it from different perspectives, and especially for little Kinsey, it was her book. It was written for her mostly, and I hope that I did her character well. And
you did.
Thank you.
I like how you did that. It was different and exactly what you said. It gave hope, and you can't piss off either side of the family is how you did that. Like, how can they be mad at that?
No, and I didn't. Of course, I was very kind to both families. I don't think either one of the families are guilty of anything other than being just a victim of the same person. And they all lost something. And even with the Watts people, that they lost their son as well as their daughter-in-law and their grandchildren. So no one's bad. No one's a bad guy except for Chris Watts. Period.
Right.
There was a lot of things. I'm not going to go on about it, but there were a lot of things said by a certain family, though. But we'll move on. I'm not going to go into that.
Sure.
So you're looking about September then for this new book to come out. So you're obviously well into it. Is Rhonda very happy with it? Is she sort of feeling that she's getting her input into it? And
yeah, she well, with the coronavirus now, but she knows with everything that she knows so far, she was crying and she's very excited. So she said that she trusts me and she trusts, I mean, there's not any way, not that I would, but there's no way possible that we can do anything worse for her case and what has happened. So we can only go up from here, and she couldn't be happier.
And it couldn't hurt, no matter what. It couldn't hurt. Yeah. You know, there's nothing we're going to put in the book that's going to be harmful to her in any way. No. Yeah.
And she already loves Tanya, and you know, Chris, that she loves Team Phoenix. So she'll be sending her love to everybody today for sure.
What a sweetie. Well, send it back from me, please. Thank you.
So, and besides the book, is there anything else going on legally in the background with obviously, you know, obviously if her intentions are to try and
so we'll be doing the clemency packet, and everything will be based around the battered women syndrome, which it is all new laws. It should have been used all along. So basically it's sifting through everything, and just bringing up all those points. Also, everything will be different now because it won't be with the battered women syndrome. Obviously, you know, there's 911 calls of Jimmy. All that stuff will finally be able to be used. So hopefully she'll be granted her clemency.
I think she will. I think if anyone deserves it, it will be
so.
her. That would be beautiful. Right. And when is that happening again?
Well, we were hoping that, like I said before, we were giving it kind of like a year time frame, but now with this virus, I wouldn't even know. I'm still going to hope that maybe by next September, so by next fall, I'm hoping that we can be before a judge. Hopefully.
And that'll be another year and a half of time served. So I don't think there's any way he can look at all that and say no. Yeah.
And her parole is August 28th or something, like 27th of 2027.
Good.
Worst comes to worst, I don't see why she wouldn't be walking out for her parole. I mean, I hate for her to wait that long. But if worst comes to worst, I don't think she will be in there past her parole time.
Good.
But with the book and the clemency and filing for that and using the battered women syndrome laws, I think that she'll be, I'm hoping that she could be out of there, even if it is to be transferred out of the prison and put into a hospital setting for a couple years, 2 years, whatever it may be. I think that's what's right and what she deserves.
I do too. I agree completely. I mean, I think she deserves to just walk, when they have the hearing. I really do.
I would say that, but after being in there, I mean, she's on 17 years and everything that she's gone through, I would think anybody should have some kind of mental testing done. She's been jumped. She's had head injuries, spinal injuries, and all that too. And so that when she gets out, that she has a fair shot when she's out.
True. Okay, good.
Would be a better decision, I think, and what her
definitely.
And I think too.
Right, or at least give her some sort of free psychiatric treatment, even if she comes in once a week or whatever, twice a week,
Yep, definitely.
Be able to deal with all this.
She needs to be set up so that she can succeed when she's out.
And, yes,
and
definitely.
Not just want to go back to what she knows.
Right. And, she has her son out here waiting for her, and her son was her life, Poor lady. I feel so bad.
But, sorry, did you say this this is a new law? Is it battered? Was it battered women?
Battered women. Yep, battered women syndrome laws. For the last couple years has been going around countries, different states, what have you. But it's newer to Texas. Texas was never like that. It's men rule. They didn't really care. If you look at it, there's quite a bit of women, even just from beauty pageant worlds. Like that one lady who wants us to help her too. Kathy, she was with a judge, dating a judge for several years, and he had her all set up. So now she's in prison. The judge is out free, who knows what. So, I mean, just throw a little lady in prison and the guy can walk, Someone's got to pay. That's just how Texas is.
They are. Right. And unfortunately, it doesn't, say anything bad about the state of Texas, but it's just the way that they have conducted their lives.
The good old boy system that they were born and raised, into running by. So.
Right. And like I said, the men are big and the women are little, so unfortunately.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. And you have to keep us up to date, Cher, with what happens, and Tanya can keep us up to date with the progress on the book.
Sure,
well.
definitely,
so,
we will.
Oh yeah.
See how you're getting on. Are you familiar with the Gannon Stauch case? Have you looked at that at all? The little boy.
A little bit, but not really. I haven't really studied it much. It's a tragedy. Poor baby. I don't know. I can't handle an overload of children's cases like that, but I know the fundamental stuff about it. That's about it. But
It's so sad. It's kind of hot on the, just after the Watts case. We've just seemed to have kind of
Sure.
child after child
I know.
that's gone missing
Yeah.
or found dead. It's just horrible. It's just, I don't know what the world's
Horrible.
turning into. I really don't.
I know.
So rough.
What causes these people to do these things, particularly to harm children? Same as what,
How could
Chris
you
Watts did.
harm a child? Oh my gosh. How could you, I mean, if I would step on my daughter's toe, I would cry for hours, that kind of thing. How do you harm a child? Oh my goodness.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially one you're caring for, that is your stepchild or your own child or whatever. I mean, how would you, even to give them a slap on the fingers or something, how could you even bring yourself to do something like that? I don't know.
Takes a special kind of evil, doesn't it?
It does.
A special kind of evil to do that.
I believe that. Right.
It really does. It's just
Yeah, we'll never be able to unhear or unsee the things that, I mean, it's
never. No.
It's anyone that's got, like, I got a son that's 12 in August, and I cannot imagine, and he's got ADHD, so I know Gannon had some disabilities, but that does not, I mean, I don't get it.
No, I don't either. And especially kids with ADHD, they cannot handle negative reinforcement. So if you put them in a corner on timeout, they freak out. And, I know with my daughter, at least she did. And so you have to do all positive, whatever, and you learn your way around it. But how could you hurt a child? How could you hurt a child in any way, emotionally even? How could you do that? I don't know.
I just hope...
And all I ever wanted was more children. So, yeah.
I just hope that she gets full justice and there's no kind of technicality or loophole or any kind of, anything like...
the games that she's trying to play?
Yeah, the games that she's trying to play already. She's trying to...
I'm crazy. I'm psycho.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fun and games with the court system and...
right.
And it makes me think of, was it Casey Anthony who got off...
I cried that day. I don't know about you guys, when they read the verdict. I was just, I
was in shock. I was like, I don't even know.
I know.
These things happen.
I wanted
That's
to
the
go to
frightening
Florida
thing.
so bad.
Yeah. It's frightening that those things happen.
Yeah.
They do. Look at OJ, but OJ was a different story. But I think that with Casey Anthony, how could you look at this woman and hear her talk and hear her lie and not know she's so guilty of harming her baby? Oh my God.
But who doesn't report your child missing for 31 goddamn days? I could not. My son, when I was living in the cities, actually it was my daughter, her first time to kindergarten, I was there waiting for the bus to come, and the bus was late, and I was I was freaking out. I was late going to work that day because I was not leaving, and it was late. I was on the phone with the school, like, where the heck is my daughter? It was something like 30 minutes late. I watched the bus drive right by me, the bus stop, with my daughter looking out the window, like, scared and confused. I hopped in my damn car and chased that bus down.
Good for you.
Like,
I would too.
Could you imagine not, like, calling in my kid missing for 31 days?
Oh, I know. And
I would... What?
No. And, well, I think what happened in the Anthony case is that it may have been an accident, that Casey was there home alone with her daughter and the child may have drowned. That may be completely true. But George, the father, he was at work.
I believe that, but still, you have to do what's right. I don't care if you sit in a prison because they don't believe that it was an accident. I don't care. You have to do what's right.
You have to do what's right.
No excuse. If my kid accidentally drowned, I'm not freaking going through all these measures to try and hide it or...
No, you call 911 in case the child can be revived. I mean...
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because that has happened. People have drowned and been brought back to life. And how could you not? I mean, she was a dumb kid. Casey was the age my daughter is now, actually. But you still call 911. I'm sorry. Every time. Or the way the prosecutors thought that she actually put her in the trunk and gave her chloroform, and she gave her too much, and the child just didn't wake up. I don't think that's true. I think she threw her in the trunk afterwards and to try to, and then the car started smelling after a few days, and she had to ditch the car. Oh,
Okay,
what a nightmare.
do you know, was there ever a toxology done on Kaylee, or was it not doable? Because I was curious, you know, she was calling the nanny Zanny the nanny, and her friends
Right.
were saying that they did Xanax a lot, right? So do you think that she gave Kaylee
Right.
Xanax to kind of mellow her out so that she could go off and party? And
It
maybe
could've-
she
could have,
passed
but
from too much Xanax? I don't know.
that's entirely possible. I think the body was so degraded and so decomposed, there was only
That
a
they
skull.
couldn't do. Okay.
They couldn't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That much
So,
time
I
later.
mean, that's my theory anyway.
I guess it's
Either
a
that or
time
she did give her even Benadryl, anything that made her pass out.
Right.
I think that Casey used to let her stay in the trunk of the car. But
Right.
in the middle of, what was it, June, or it was June heat in Florida. Oh my gosh. No. I don't know.
That's awful.
But
isn't
it was, even
Yeah.
if it was an accident, you hear about all these people who, usually fathers, sorry, men, but they leave their children locked in a hot car.
Yeah.
And they do it by accident, but that could have been what happened to Casey or to Kaylee. And, but you still call 911 and you take whatever you get from it. It was an accident. It was an accident. So I don't know. I think that she was covering up. Maybe she was covering up something that she gave her. Yeah.
Possibility, yeah. So my point was that I hope nothing like that, or the case for Letitia Stout doesn't end up like that, because these things do happen. The prosecution have just got to be so rock tight in their
oh, definitely
prosecution.
Right.
Like I said, they can't have any little thing that the defence can grab hold of and cause any seed of doubt. If there's any seed of doubt in any of the jury, it could throw it off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that is what happened with the Casey Anthony case. Was that the jury? I listened to the jury selection, and they got people who had no clue about the case. No one. Which, what do you do? I don't know how else to. But the people, I think the jurors thought that we were talking about beyond a shadow of a doubt, or beyond whatever. They didn't think that all you need is reasonable doubt as to what happened. I don't know. The jury was all wrong in that case too, but we can't retry her, which is a shame. I guess they could bring her back in and try her for tampering with a dead body, which has a long, at least a semi-long sentence or something like that. There were other charges they didn't go after because they were going after murder. And negligence of a child. I don't know why they didn't at least slap that on her. That the jury said, nope, we don't see it. I can't imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Unreal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on tonight. So I guess people need to be looking around about September then for the sort of release date.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many books have you written now? What would that be like? 7th, 8th, 9th book?
This will be my 9th book, right? And then I've got one book that's a short novella, which is like 20,000 words, called Severed, so that I still count that because it's published. So yeah, it's a fun hobby. I love doing it. Especially the ones that actually change lives or make people think. So this is a wonderful project, and I hope I get to meet Rhonda someday and give her a hug myself. I know I'll meet Cher. One way or the other, we'll meet for sure.
Well, when this is over, we'll have to go together. I think
we have to. I would love that. Yeah, that would be wonderful. Yeah. So yeah,
makes sense.
Okay, brilliant.
Very much.
Well, thanks for coming on. And best of luck with the book. Best of luck with the sales of your No Inclination book as well. I hope that's going well. And I'm sure we'll speak again. And same to you, Cher. Thanks for coming on.
Yep. Thanks, Chris.
Take care.
Thank you for having us.
That's okay.
Yep. Thanks for having us.
No
Love
worries.
everybody.
A lot of fun.
Thank you.
XOXO.
Good to
Bye,
see
guys.
you, Tanya.
Nice to see you too.
I'll text.
So there we go. I don't know if I'm still on. I think I've just killed the meeting. Yes, and I have disappeared. But yeah, thanks to everyone for popping on. As I say, Tania's book will be out in around about September then. So she's basically writing the story of Rhonda Glover, who, well, she shot dead her husband Jimmy Jost in 2004, July 2004. She was given 46 years in Gatesfield prison. However, Cher and Tania and obviously Rhonda both feel that it certainly wasn't a fair trial. There was a lot in the trial that she, was, I suppose you would call irregularities, and was not fair. And they feel that there's another story there to be told. So that will all come out in the book, I'm sure. JD, you just asking about the stickers. So we do. There is now a join button on the channel. You click it, you can just have a look. There's a little introduction video on there. It's 3 tiers. It just starts at like $2 a month, and it gives you just some like fun stickers and emojis and stuff like that you can use in the chat. I've created some funny ones. I'm going to be creating a lot more. We're going to have some sort of silly ones on there. I've got like a mad professor and a mad woman. So I'm sure you know who those two represent. And we're going to be putting some other ones on there. But yeah, if you just need to click the join button, I think it's on the home page. I'm not sure if it's on here anywhere, but I'd appreciate if you just have a look. But yeah, thanks for popping in, and take care, and we'll speak to you all again soon. Thanks, True Helper and Kimberly, for looking after the chat.